Right guys, so we have some bad news regarding the iPhone SE 4 because after Quo telling us we could see a big refresh, he's now uncertain about this, and so let's delve into it. So a few weeks ago, Quo told us we could see the iPhone SE 4 be based on the iPhone 14 design, and it would be the first device to come with Apple's in-house modems. And this was pretty exciting news because obviously in the past we've seen the SE be based on much older iPhone designs, and so for this to get a pretty modern iPhone 14 design was pretty surprising news. However, I do want to remind you guys, I was quite skeptical of this news because, let's be honest, it sounds too good to be true because if the SE gets a new design and OLED, how is Apple gonna upsell consumers to more expensive models? And while it seems Quo might agree with this because he now says what he initially said might not be the case, and this iPhone 14 based SE is actually a prototype that Apple made to test modems, and there's actually no plans to mass produce this. So yeah, Quo basically got us excited for no absolute reason, but I'm not surprised by this news because this SE would have either been too expensive or would have cannibalized other iPhones, and yeah, I've just kind of given up on Apple giving us a proper budget iPhone. I think they're just better off killing off the SE at this point. And yeah, that's what Quo says. Apple's deciding if they should delay the device or cancel it, and I'm leaning towards cancellation, but of course, if Apple can bring back the mini design for the SE 4, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm not interested. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this. It would be appreciated. Now, for those wondering what this means for Apple's in-house 5G modems, well, Quo says the mass production of these modems depends on the test results on this iPhone 14 based prototype, but if everything goes to plan, we could see this enter mass production in 2025, and if test results are below expectations, the schedule might be pushed back to 2026 or later. So yes, we're not seeing these modems anytime soon, but of course, I'm still excited for these. If these gave us much better battery life on 5G, that would be nice. And since Apple always nails efficiency with their chips, I think that's going to be the case. Now, for those still holding out hope we could see an SE, Jeff Poo does tell us, according to his sources, we could still see a 2025 release for this, but he says nothing about the design of this, so it could be based on the iPhone XR like previous reports, or maybe something similar to the iPhone X like some other reports had suggested. So yeah, there's been a ton of contradicting information regarding the SE, and frankly no one really knows what Apple's gonna do with this. I'm still hoping for a mini based SE, I think that would be great, and it definitely would be the perfect iPhone to launch the 5G modem with, because if it is initially worse than Qualcomm's modems, the higher end iPhones can continue using that till Apple refines their modems. Anyways, let's delve into your comments. So Thomas says, Apple's playing it safe, releasing a bunch of new products now could be risky, especially after a weak 2022 product lineup. In my opinion, only the Apple Watch Ultra was a very good release this year. Now, I would disagree with the last point. I do think there were other good releases in 2022, like of course AirPods Pro 2, the Mac Studio. But yes, I do agree there were many mediocre refreshes last year, especially of course with Apple's budget lineup. The iPhone SE 3 and the iPad 10 were pretty bad. And so I can definitely understand why Apple's playing it safe, and why they're not releasing the SE 4. Some media regarding the SE 4 being based on the 14 says, this makes sense because the 14 did not sell that well, so Apple rebrands it as the SE and still moves the product within a reasonable price to make a profit. Two birds, one stone. So I do understand that, but here's the thing, the regular 14 actually is doing pretty well. I believe it beat the 14 Pro and was number 5 on the best selling smartphone list. And so yes, even with the worst specs, people are still buying this, and so I doubt that Apple has so much inventory left of the regular 14 to recycle it as the iPhone SE 4. Now the 14 Plus could actually fit in your theory because we know that's not selling well and it's not on the best sellers list, and so if Apple has enough iPhone 14 Plus parts, that could theoretically become the SE 4, but that's not what the rumors suggest. And considering Quo now says a 14 based SE is no longer in the works, I doubt we're going to see this. So Dawn says, if the SE4's a 13 mini with better specs, I would buy that if I did not save enough money for the base 15. And that's exactly what I'm hoping the SE4 is, if it does materialize, because I think the mini form factor should stay, and I think it makes sense to offer that at $400 because most looking for a small device are not willing to spend a lot. That's why the mini flopped, but now at a low price it's selling pretty well. Refurbished 12 minis have sold out quite consistently, so yes, there is a market for small devices, they just need to be cheaper, and that's why the SE4 being based on a mini could be perfect. So someone here suggesting a battery capacity of 4,000 mAh and 33 watt charging for the SE4, but that's never happening because Apple, for one, is not an Android manufacturer that's going to go overkill with the charging specs. In my use, iPhones do last long enough, and so you're likely only charging this overnight, where fast charging's not that important. And regarding the battery, if this really is 6.1 inches, it's definitely not getting that big of a battery because remember the Pro Max has a 4,300 mAh battery. So once again, Apple's not going to go overkill with the battery specs. Apple's optimization with the software and hardware means you are still going to get rock solid battery life with a smaller battery inside. So Zeus says if the OLED they choose is only 60Hz, then it wouldn't cannibalize sales of the higher end models, especially since those targeting the SE generally do so because they have a specific price point they won't go past regardless. This is why two models make sense to milk and stretch that financial boundary from this target market. Now, I kinda agree with your first point, but I do want to say that most consumers are paying for these phones on a monthly basis, and so paying $100 or $200 more for the higher end device actually does make sense to some consumers because ultimately they're only going to be paying a few dollars extra per month. And so that's why Apple has a ladder of sorts with the iPhone lineup, where you gradually get more and more features as you go for the higher end models. And so yes, giving OLED to the SE would disrupt this, and the regular models would lose the edge they have over the SE, so yes, I don't see the SE getting OLED yet. Now regarding your last point on two SE models, actually I would be down for that. I think an SE Plus would be nice, especially for those wanting a little better battery life. You can get the Plus size instead. However, I do want to mention I was completely wrong about the 14 Plus. I thought that would do really well, but that was not the case. And so yeah, with the basic SE4 on the verge of cancellation, I doubt we're gonna get an SE Plus. But hopefully we do still see a pretty good SE update in the near future, but tell me your thoughts regarding this in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one.